And this is something that there's such a noble profession that was dying in front of me.
Proteges or associates were talking about the way they used to make penny 100 years ago in those earthen pots. He said that this talent is probably going to stay and die with this man who's 70 plus years old now.
If it looks good, it's probably wrong. If it looks bad, it's probably good.
I think packaging, it's all a game of packaging.
My granddad started his career in the Taj at the age of 14 back then. And he rose from there to become the first Indian executive chef in 1947 after independence.
Yeah, and today it's very difficult to distinguish the right from the wrong.
Your food is not up to mark and up to standard. I'll forget the food. I'll focus more on the ambience and the way people make you feel. And I have forgotten many bad meals. But I will never forget how the people made me feel.
How can they make an impact in the space?
Just be true and be you. That would be nice.
How are these communities operating, and what is the underlying goal that you set up when you started with these?
Hospitality means you have to be hospitable, not put somebody in a hospital and forget the ability after that.
You're from the world of finance. So how do aspiring writers, curators, F&B entrepreneurs Hi Nolan, welcome to today's special. We've been trying to get you for some time now, but I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you so much, Ketan. It's always a pleasure to be over here. And yes, it's been a long time in the making. So thank you for your patience more than anything else.
No, we are always welcome. Nolan, pretty much everybody in the F&B space knows you, so I'm going to not get into all that introduction and everything, but I want to get into the beginning of your journey, or maybe the stage where you felt that you were now doing meaningful work in terms of giving back to the community. And one of your most successful initiatives was the Porter Chronicles in December 2020, right in the thick of the middle of the COVID, right? And you described it as an ode to the old and a way forward for the new. I'm just curious to know what made you think that this is something that would help, and how did you realize that Goa's 400-year-old bread tradition needed saving?
Oh, thanks for highlighting that. That is something that is very close to my heart and is still close to my heart. And the objective was very simple. We were given the gift of bread. It's even in our scriptures. It says, "Give us today our daily bread."
Mhm.
And it was something that was gifted to us by the Portuguese. The art of bread making. It suffered a little bit of a decline during COVID, like every other business, where people were struggling. The poders themselves were struggling to try and figure out because of the lockdowns and the way things are. Having said that, I just wanted to figure out how it is I could uplift the situation. At the same time, that is something that could not be done just by handouts.
Hmm.
So it was something that was very clear in terms of what can I do to keep the industry alive, especially in times like this. So I remember I was traveling during lockdown in my village in Anjuna. There was a poder that was there right at the beginning of the road.
Hmm.
The cops were there beside him. Everybody had masks. I can never forget that. And I went walking. I had a mask. I was told not to talk to him by the cops because of transmission. Eventually, after a couple of days, I met him. I spoke to him, and I realized that he was struggling to basically make a living. Bread was being baked, bread was thrown, he could not afford it, people were not coming to him. And this was somebody who basically had a dedicated supply of people coming and customers coming on a day to day basis. And this is something that was so importantly centric to our local community that people could not get to him. And neither was he allowed to get to people. They have that beautiful thing where they come on a cycle with a basket at the back and a little pond. So people in their houses at certain times in the morning and the evening know that the bread man is coming. It's more like an alarm. We have a church alarm, which is an evangelist, where we know it's a certain 12 o'clock in the day, we have the bread. Beautiful old traditions. Having said that, it was very disheartening. So the first time I went, I basically bought bread and I froze it because that's what I should do when I should be not. I was never in Goa for the longest time. I should come to Goa, take bread, and then head back, and then freeze it and then savor it every time I could until my stock got over. So I did the exact same thing during COVID, and when the restrictions have got a little better, and we kind of they lifted the first lockdown and people could transmit and move around. I followed him to his bakery. I saw the conditions of his bakery. They were deplorable. He didn't have a proper table to make bread. The roof was half caved in. And this is something that it was such a noble profession that was dying in front of me. So I flipped the script and I used my influence and my resources in the food world. And I said, how about if take my breads from here, my local poders, and there are many of them around and different bakeries around, and target them to basically supply to restaurants and hotels. So with the help of a few friends and a few establishments, I had a lot of support from Antares at the time with Mr. Ashish Kapoor. Hilton opened up their arms with Mr. Amandeep, the GM of the time. Lovely people, lovely friends. I basically just spoke to them and said, I come to your hotel and the first thing you do is you give me a ciabatta and a focaccia. And don't get me wrong, I love all breads. But whenever I travel to Italy, they are proud to show me their bread, which is local, right? Which is basically something of culture. They will not give me a sliced bread, even if I ask for it. So why not we think of something on those lines to be like, hey, you've come to Goa as a traveler or a tourist. Why do you want to eat Italian bread or French bread? Why not eat Goan bread? You want sliced bread is everywhere. It's universal, right? Sliced bread is universal. But apart from that, why not have something to showcase how beautifully intrinsic Goan bread is? And people have documented Goan bread, and some places have gone up to 12, 13 uh, breads which the Portuguese have given us. Sadly, unfortunately, because of the dwindling passage of time, it's come down to some of the old stalwarts still making about five or six of them. And the people in different parts of the north versus the south of Goa, which I will talk to you about later on, but they've come down to maybe three items of those breads. So there is a whole, it's eroding. Culture is eroding. And I said, how do we make it cool again? So my thought of is how do I reach out to an audience to make bread cool again? And that was the genesis idea of the Poder Chronicles. It was a very simple initiative. It was let me document recipes surrounding champion breads of what the local bakery can make to support an independent standalone or a hotel, right? Let me connect the chef of that establishment to the local baker. So there is a beautiful symbiosis that takes place. It also becomes a CSR activity for the hotel and restaurant to show their people around that we are supporting locals and we are locally aware and we're reaching out to the diaspora out there. It becomes a beautiful fit and their bread gets sold. So livelihood and economy basically works hand in hand. And the bread is not even that expensive as compared to what you would take to bake a bread, which anyway your clientele does need any which ways. We're talking about breads that have risen from 3 rupees to 5 rupees after 15 odd years of a lot of heartache and pain, and people were grumbling about it because that is at the end of the day local Goan bread, right?
Right.
And it is happening the world over. I was in Portugal as of 4 months ago. We got a message from the poder saying on our doorstep saying that we are going to increase our bread from 0.80 cents on the euro to 1 euro of bread, a 20-cent increase. That's 100 rupees for one bread versus 5 rupees in Goa because of our economies. You can figure it out.
Of course.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the idea. So I went to the chefs. How do we make it cool? I went into the kitchens. I created some lovely recipes, nothing to do with sliders or nothing to do with, just put fillings into the breads and serve it to people. I was a little stern, a little more utilitarian when I told them the reason you will get me on board. One is I will do this for you without a single charge, which is almost all my hospitality in this field. Point number two, you can use my reference and me as a face wherever you like or however long you like, as long as you support the local bakery and your baker and your poder. And point number three, your maximum dish on this menu of whatever it is we decide and curate together has to be not more than 250 rupees because I want people to adapt, adopt, and appreciate. To appreciating Goan bread. And when people buy a bread for 5 rupees, they're not going to, I don't want them to pay 700 or 650 or 800
Of
rupees
course.
for
Yeah.
some sort of a dish that we create together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a reaching success. There's
Yeah,
so much more that
fantastic.
happened, but yeah.
Yeah, no. If I'm not wrong, you created over 50 recipes with multiple venues, restaurants, and some of them
That is
still
correct.
carry them.
That is correct. Yes, yes. They still do. They were very simple recipes. Some were a little more
Yeah.
complex. Many used it as it worked out as a great marketing
Yeah.
gimmick for many people around. And I'm just so happy that it worked out well in everyone's favor.
Yeah, I mean it's not a zero sum game right now. The value is so much more for everybody in the ecosystem. It's fantastic. Just
Thank
shifting
you.
tracks a little bit. You have your family has a certain amount of legacy with the Taj brand, especially the hospitality arm, right? Your mom or your grandfather, and there is a restaurant named after him at the Taj, right? So there's a lot of heritage that has probably been passed down to you. How has that shaped the way you're thinking about this world, this F&B specific aspect of this world?
Yeah, that is such a brilliant question because it works on the fundamental principle
Mm.
of food being sustenance to take care of one's body and one's survival. If you
Mm.
just let's just break it down to that. Legacy and all is secondary. It always helps and shapes character, and your surroundings shape your
Mm.
character, right? I
Right.
mean, I remember I have grown up in the legacy of the Taj.
Mm.
I have called three Taj properties my residences. My residences have been because my dad was the general manager of many properties who kept getting transferred, like all hospitality professionals do. They get a couple of years and they moved on to the next spot. So yeah, I have in school my they should make fun of me given the fact that my house used to be room 222 in Chennai and 510 in Goa. And I grew up in rooms of the Taj, obviously, and my parents obviously worked in the Taj for 28 years and 25
Wow.
years respectively. My granddad started his career in the Taj at the age of 14 back then, plucking. He was a lad from Anjuna, and he was taken in by his father-in-law immediately after getting married to my grandmother, obviously. And then he was taken into the kitchens, and they were French and German chefs at the time because India was still under British rule, and the Tatars had opened the Taj Mahal
Mm.
Hotel. And he was a fourth standard gentleman who
Mm.
he was fourth past. He started his career plucking 200 broiler chickens and defeathering them and gutting them and keeping them
Wow.
ready for the French and the Germans to prepare fancy dishes for the elite society.
Mm.
And he rose from there to become the first Indian executive chef in 1947 after independence, and he was handpicked by J.R.D. Tata himself. So there is a lot of legacy when it comes. We worship and we respect food. We still caress food
Mm.
in the same barometer always. We kind of look at. I live off a farm now,
Mm.
and it's an organic permaculture principled farm, and we are very clear about zero wastage as far as possible, reuse,
Mm.
upcycle, and see exactly how seasonal produce can help and sustain us so that we are in sync with nature rather than the other way
Mm.
around. And it obviously makes such a different impact when you're talking about in today's day and age and context. It's the need of the hour. I am of the belief that it is the need
Mm.
of the hour because of the conditions that we are heading towards what we are doing to our planet, what we are doing to
Yeah.
our resources, what we are doing to our bodies, and the stuff that we're putting into our bodies. Food is of the need of the hour. Clean, sustainable, good food is the need of the hour. Because if that's gone, you're just feeding and fueling your beautiful system, entire body system with so much
Yeah.
of junk that we're
And
surrounded with, and it's easy.
yeah, and today it's very difficult to distinguish the right from the wrong. It's all they look almost identical at the surface level, but
If it
unless you
looks
know
good,
you,
if it looks good, it's probably wrong. If it looks
yeah,
bad, it's probably good.
it it needs to
So
have
that's a
some flaws.
barometer.
Yeah, but that's a very good advice. I mean, we should keep that in mind. I think packaging, it's all a game of packaging right now,
That
and
is correct.
unfortunately, a lot of us are falling for it.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
And speaking of the heritage and legacy, you've been a champion of Goa's food and drink scene for a very long time, right? And I remember when I went to Goa 25, 30 years ago, it was a place where people would just go and sit on the beach with a couple of crates of beers and just do that. But Goa has come a long, long way since then, right? I mean, some of the top bars in Asia are in Goa. I think four at the last count, and Tasuro hit number four at in 2022. Boilermaker was there in 2025. So it's the scene has changed completely. What do you think has changed? What changed? Is it the influx of a lot of talent from outside? Was it the realization that we have so much of wealth that we have not tapped yet? What led to this resurgence? And I'm very happy for it.
Right. So I think the ecosystem is beautiful right now and is getting
Hmm.
even better as we speak. A lot of people around India, let's leave Goa for a minute. Goa is always a cradle of great creativity, and I am
Hmm.
of the firm belief as someone who has lived outside Goa and come back to Goa uh, as a Goan and as, let me call myself, a settler for now as well. It is just beautiful to see a mix of so many different people. It's like a homecoming. You see many of them who just come over here. They've been very chilled. They feel so much better about themselves. Life has kind of slowed down from the madness and the hectic craziness of what that aura of metros brings into play. And you have people who have come and adopted this lifestyle only
Hmm.
because they feel comfortable and they feel easy. So when they're there, their creativity just unfurls. There are so
Hmm.
many people who I have spoken, and they've just said, Nolan, we feel we never knew we had this in us, and now this is what has
Hmm.
happened. I was doing something completely different at one point of time, and now I am doing this. And the same thing has happened to the bar scene.
Hmm.
We have built up on principles with legacy. We have built up on principles, keeping into new standards of innovation. We are working with. I'll give you an example. We're working with Story and Heart, the boys in
Okay.
Slow Tide, right?
Hmm.
And this is a shout out to them, obviously. My boys at Hideaway, my boys at Boilermaker, Petishko, all the boys, right? They are doing, and girls, of course, they are doing such a brilliant job with story content.
Hmm.
Slow Tide, for example, is doing um, an ode to the veterans of Anjuna because they are based in Anjuna.
Okay.
So they have cocktails that are named after people from the culture of the 70s and the 80s, which is a runaway.
Hmm.
They have something called Acid Eric, which
Okay.
is a gentleman called Eric who used to do acid back in the
Hmm.
hippie culture of Goa. And it looks so beautiful. People are even confused whether that beautiful acid strip sticker on the ice cube is actually acid or not, thinking they'll get a high. You know, you have you have the boys from Petishko who are doing the Purumantache Fest. So the Purumantache Fest basically was a cocktail program derived, taking into consideration local ingredients that would
Hmm.
tide over once for the monsoon season. So
Ah, okay.
all your dried items, all your salted items, you would have, pickled items, things like that, which would take people through the monsoons when they didn't have time to cultivate, obviously, and they would
Right.
put rice to in the paddy fields to basically grow for their next harvest.
Hmm.
So they developed an entire cocktail menu around that, right?
Oh, fantastic.
These are uniqueness items which will obviously elevate a program and and I am so glad to know that people from and the support from the alcobev industry over here
Hmm.
has been tremendous when it comes to sponsors, when it comes to liquor partners, when it comes to the whole ecosystem is so complacently competitive that it is
Hmm.
brilliant. Everyone is at their own pace. They're doing their own drinks. They own their own drinks and their concepts. So people want to go to a place, Joseph Bar.
Yeah.
He's opened he's gone into a lovely Fenny line which I was just recently been made aware of, which was Diptofenny. That is smooth Fenny, which his family has gone back many years back. It's so beautiful because now we have two Goan families that are doing
Yeah.
Fenny. Obviously, you have Ansel and
Answer and
Kazulo, which he was one of the pioneers in the Fenny movement,
absolutely.
and he made it look so cool. He took a page, I'm sure, of the earlier beyonds of the industry,
Hmm.
which is still there, which is Madame Rosa from the Vaz family. They have their own Fenny. So everyone has that ecosystem which is following something or the other and
Yeah.
taking pages of people's stories. You have a lovely Fenty that's come out now, which is Goenchi. So everyone is coming out. You have rum that
Hmm.
is doing great work. Again,
Yes.
locally sourced Goa rum. Gin, you have greater than and Anand doing fantastic gym,
Mhm.
and the boys from Hapusa, right? You have Kasturi and Makazai, you have Sachin and Earth Rum. So everybody is doing something so unique that local adaptation is something that becomes a cradle of life from a liquor perspective. You have
Right.
Pankaj who's doing short stories. Pankaj at the same time is countertop, and now he's gone in doing the bar scene at Boilermaker, right?
Mm.
So can you just understand? It's so beautifully placed,
Yeah.
right?
It's
That
all come together.
people have ingredients to play with. People have support of backward integrated local industry that is complementing each other. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
petri dish of talent meets
Lots.
ingredient meets creativity.
No, absolutely, and lots happening. One comment I want to make is I went to Mr. Vaz's Fenny experience that he runs in Goa, right? It was me, my daughter, and my wife, and the whole thing on the riverbed and making you taste Fenny and all of that. So that is what attracted us to the whole thing. But when the most interesting part that is not advertised as much is that when Hansel was talking about, or one of his proteges or associates were talking about the way they used to make Fenny 100 years ago in those earthen pots, and how it goes from one pot to the other, and how the the Fenny maker would just tap the pot to see and gauge whether it's done or not. He said that this talent is probably going to stay and die with this man who's 70 plus years old now, and who's been doing this for us for years.
Right.
And he's like, if we don't tap into it now, pun not intended, it will be lost forever. And that is the whole concept behind his experience. And it's 3 hours of your life that teach you so much about what you just said. The whole concept of the local ingredients, they have food pairings that go with Fenny. And you would never think of it, right? Because for somebody as ignorant as I was when I first had Fenny, it just tasted awful, right? But then you start appreciating it because there's a certain way, rhythm, and context to it, which is now showing up with the entire bar scene in Goa, because all of these people that you spoke about understand deeply what that state, that region, that culture is about.
And also, so everyone is going back to legacy. What
Hmm.
I'm trying to make here is that everyone is tapping back a couple of centuries to figure out what did our ancestors do
Yeah.
correctly that we have forgotten. Because human history, as someone who loves to document and someone who I just love evolution stories, and I just love the ethos of how we
Hmm.
arrived to where we are in this so-called year of 2026 and what has happened before us. There are so many storylines that we have lost and forgotten along the way. For example, let's stick to Fenny, right? Cashew Fenny. Back in the day, there used to be a stick that they used to use.
Hmm.
I don't remember the company name right now, but it used to be a tapping stick where they used to pick up the
Hmm.
cashew fruit
Fruit.
from the ground and put
Right.
it in a basket. And that stick basically had a quill,
Hmm.
and that was the quill of a porcupine. So a porcupine would shed
Shed.
its quills in the
Yeah.
forest. They would go over there and they would use that. Today, people are using metal nails to pick it up. So
Yeah.
it's like basically you hit the cashew and it catches, right? So it would
Yeah.
be a metal nail, and that is that is not in sync with nature because metal will rust. Metal will have its own flavor
Hmm.
property. That a quill that was so organic to pick it up would not disrupt, the actual essence of the whole fruit.
Yeah.
Even like with Hansel and the team, when you talk to them, I'm a big fan of Dukshiri Feni because I remember growing up, there is a certain brand of theirs which is Dukshiri, and I don't make it public enough because Hansel till date is still grappling with the fact because he has a limited stock availability of this.
Hmm.
Obviously, if anyone finds it in any store without fail, just pick it up and keep it at your bar. This was something that was Goa's answer to any ailment that ever persisted back in the day. It comes from
Hmm.
the name Dukh Shiri only. That means, as you can see, Dukh Shiri
Yeah.
means for like pain. It was a
Yeah.
pain relief thing. It has herbs and roots that are basically fermented and kept inside that feni,
Hmm.
and the flavor profile is just so brilliant. He has made it so amazing as the same bottle packaging is a green, I think a brown color sticker. The last
Hmm.
I have it at home, and at the end of it, it is every Goan household would use it. My dad has used it, my mom has used it, my grandparents have used it.
Hmm.
For any problem, any ailment in the night, have penny. If I had to do a legacy study, my grandfather, without fail, until he was paralyzed when he was 73, would finish work. He would, on his trips to Goa in his ancestral place, he would make sure that he would land up in the Mandovi River without fail and swim in the Mandovi. Now it's atrocious because it's one of the
Yes.
highly most polluted rivers in the planet in Southeast Asia after the Mekong Delta.
Hmm.
But earlier, back in the day, that was the lifeline, lifeblood of every single Goan. Worth their salt. Salt.
Right.
I mentioned the word salt because they would dip in the Mandovi River, swim for 20-25 minutes because salt as a property would cleanse them and make them feel better, would not give them arthritis. So that's what they believed. It had a lot of that rock salt, which we still get
Right.
today from the banks of the Mandovi and the Sal and all these rivers.
Hmm.
Can you see how much of knowledge like our ancestors had?
Yeah.
Which no one does today. No one in Goa work. I know so many people who don't want to go to the beach in Goa.
Yeah.
Living in Goa. It's like the beaches are for the people who are travelers and people who come here as settlers. They enjoy the beaches more than our actual local ones. Majority. Yeah.
No, that's very unfortunate in pockets, right? And I think our ancestors, till a couple of generations back, maybe grandfathers' time, were much more in sync with their surroundings, right? We aren't. My father was probably not as aligned as his father was. Same maybe is the case with your family and others, right?
Exactly.
And we're eating into these natural ecosystems. So where earlier porcupine, those things were
The quills, yeah.
the quills were red. You could just find them on the ground. Now you won't, because you've eaten into their space, you've encroached into their space. And if you encounter a porcupine, it suddenly becomes the porcupine's fault, not yours, right?
Exactly.
So I think that those are things, that's why we're losing so much basic knowledge, basic for them, not for us. But when there's somebody like you who's bridging the gap, it makes a complete circle, right? And we need more.
Say, for someone who lives on the farm very close to the wildlife conservatory, the amount of
Yeah.
fauna I see and all the animal species that come across and make their place home and in the Happy Hermit Estate, that's my farm, is only because I got an empty piece of land and we cultivated 4,000 trees. And
Wow.
everywhere else around us, people are felling the trees to basically cultivate homestays and eco resorts.
Right.
My only concept is it's kind of oxymoronical when you want to call a place an eco resort when you want to fell everything to make it look really cool. Like
it's
how is
so
it?
counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's very counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But it is. Yeah, as you said, we are going into their territory.
Yeah.
If they like it or not, they don't have a voice, and it's unfortunate. Very soon, the only thing where you'll be able to see an animal dead or alive is maybe in a lab being recreated, or you would have them in zoos or in captivity, so people can roadkill.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But to happier topics now, you've been writing about food and emotions and drinks for a very long time, and this is not your primary job, if I may highlight, right? You've been writing it pure out of passion, and it reflects in your writing. You famously said that the beauty of food lies in emotion, and you purposely avoid getting too technical with it so that there's a larger group of people who can identify with what you want to say and what you want to write. Reminds me of how Pico Iyer writes about travel, right? It's not about the details. It's about how you feel after you're done with his description of, say, Bhutan, right?
Exactly.
And it's amazing. Yeah, big fan. How do you think this emotional side of food writing came about for you, and how does that still influence when you're evaluating something?
I'll break it down for you like I'm trying to explain it to a 4-year-old.
Please.
That's my ideation to the entire thing, and that's my ethos around it. One, I don't hide behind big words because I don't understand big words myself. If I do understand that, I keep them so that people want to learn any word, they can go and check it out. Earlier, we should have the dictionary, when we were growing up, and we had to find E and then go down to figure it out. What is eulogy? E and then go down. And then now, obviously, we have AI, which is great. So people enjoy big words. I can always throw them around and they can find it out in seconds. Education. But I think when you crystallize an idea to its most simplest format, it boils down to something called love as an emotion. Because the people who cook for us, the people who make us drink, the people who spend their life, time, and effort to make other people happy in this industry, this beautiful industry, a tough one, beautiful and struggling, called hospitality, are the most amazing souls on the planet,
Yeah.
because you are spending your time to feed somebody else. It's like how you say in Hindi, jana.
Right.
You don't leave a
Yeah.
guest empty stomach. It's not
Mm.
anything else.
Yes, of course.
That is the emotion, and that is the respect and love you are giving somebody else. As my grandfather used to say, my mom's dad, may his soul rest in peace, he passed on recently.
Okay.
Like, even if an enemy comes to your house, Nolan, feed them with a glass of water. Do not let them go. That is so entrenched in the philosophy of my growth as a person, right? That is, you are feeding not someone's stomach, you're feeding their soul.
Hmm.
Now, when you are talking
You got a call? Yeah.
Amazon, sorry. Now, when you are feeding someone, okay, as a subject matter, and you're trying to be descriptive about food, the first objective is, I try to keep it very generic when it comes to these are the items of a place. I will focus on the good items of a place.
Right.
And I'll tell you why. I have critics. Everyone looks at me and says, yeah, Nolan, you only talk good. You don't talk bad. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot bad happening in the world anyway.
Yeah. Janika?
Hi, sorry. Amazon is quite a
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
That's fine. So, Nolan, do you want to restart?
I'll pick up.
Okay.
Yeah, I can pick up. So when it comes to me trying to talk about food as a subject matter is very subjective. One. Number two, it is prepared by people who are majority are genuinely interested to know exactly how you feel about what they are trying to feed you. Number three, if I go to a restaurant and I talk about food, people keep laughing at me saying, you talk about everything nice. I'm like, yeah, the world is quite a bad place. It's better to talk about everything nice now. So at least you know what to go and try over there when you go for a restaurant. It's your hard-earned money.
Yes, of course.
Think of me as somebody who is saving you an X number of rupees to not pay that stuff for the stuff I did not like. It's up to you totally, and it's very subjective. What I like, you might absolutely dislike. That's fine. The one thing I will not do is diss a chef, because from someone who has been in the kitchens, who has legacy in the kitchens, with my grandfather plucking chicken, I can only imagine his plight as a 14-year-old to try and make ends meet for the family, and then rising to where he did. Everyone puts food on the table for a reason. They've given you your time and effort, their time and effort. You are nobody to basically try and diss that act of service. A chef, a mixologist, a waiter or waitress can have a bad day. It will all reflect in their food, for sure. It will reflect in their service, maybe. Fair enough. As a customer, there is no need of basically belittling something like that just because people have emotions and have a bad day. Maybe in the next 20 years from now, this format of how we're doing our podcast might change completely. We might have AI people who will just look at you and be like, yeah, raise your food. And then you'd be used to that by then and not have to deal with human error because of emotion. But today we have emotion, right? And emotion is what makes the food so grand. Yeah, if you want emotionless food, you can go to any MNC company out there who has QSRs and has lovely formats where everybody loves it. You get your food in 3 minutes, you take it on a tray, go and eat it, and you head back home with everything added. How do you describe something so pure, if not for the goodness of it? If people actually sat back and thought about it, how can you not describe it as something so pure?
It's true.
Yeah.
And everybody with a phone is now a critic, right? So it's very easy to diss somebody behind that screen. And one thing that I
don't like that word, critic.
Yeah, that's true. See, because to be a critic, you need to. I get it, and I'm glad you brought it up, because I think the word critic is not something that you can just call yourself. It needs to be bestowed upon you after you've been through the rung. You you've not been behind that gas, you've not been in the chaos of the kitchen, you don't know, you've not studied this, right? So what makes you a critic? You don't like it, you don't like it, fine, move on, don't order next time, save your money.
If you
But
don't like it, like my
yeah,
grandmother used to say, if you have nothing good to say, shut up.
yeah,
Those are her
don't say
words.
anything.
Not even don't say anything. You have nothing good to say, shut up. If someone serves you something, say thank you.
That's it. Yeah, that's all it takes. No, but I'm glad that you brought it up. It's such an important thing, right? And
You know,
from
it
the
is, it
point
is,
of
as you said, if you do not, I do not expect someone to criticize my driving with a clutch shift if they have
hmm,
fully grown up in the era of an electric car.
there, they wouldn't even know.
They won't even own a combustion, like an internal combustion engines. So it's fine. You can't be a critic about that saying, oh, this had less pollutants and that had more pollutants. So if you've
That
not worked a range or a pass or a bar, or you've not been a bar back, don't say anything.
yeah,
Just be like, if they ask you a question and you didn't like it, say, you can be very coy about it and say, not to my liking. I'm sure
yeah,
they'll make you something better. Because
and
that's
yes,
what
they
they
will.
want to do.
Yeah, that's what they want to do, and they take pride in what they serve, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing. So so one part of this is writing. The other part that you are heavily involved or more sought out for is also your judging abilities for whatever new bars or restaurants are coming out. You've been on the jury for a lot of these panels. I'm sure emotion does play a role when you're judging, but you also have to be very, very quantifiable in your assessment, right? Um, what separates a really, really good establishment, food or drink, from an also ran or a mediocre one? And are you only judging the food and drink, or are you also judging their hospitality, all the other elements that go into hospitality?
Well, I have we've got a lot of traction on this one because I have something to say.
Hmm.
It's the people. It's the people.
Hmm.
I am somebody who is very forgiving. At the same time, if you are not a nice, kind human being and you are basically there as frontline to make somebody else feel small or somebody else feel or belittle them in your own manner of body approach, just because you don't know how to manage it, you're in the wrong industry. You can have a bad meal. I will forget that bad meal, and I have forgotten many, many bad meals. But I will never forget how the people made me feel. And I'm not talking about people who knew of my arrival. I'm talking about incognito arrivals when I have gone to a place time and time again, met the same people. And till date, they don't know who I am. But I enjoy the way they make you feel, right? Because you're having a
Yeah.
bad day, it takes people to just uplift you. You're having the food is not up to mark and up to standard. I'll forget the food. I'll focus more on the ambience and the way people make you feel, irrespective. The same with the drink as well. If I go to a bar and I don't normally do ice much, so the bartender will make a lovely cocktail and then I will request them to take the ice out. I've had some barmen and mixologists look at me and scoff at me,
Hmm.
and that's fair. That's fair.
Hmm.
I mean, it is a creation drink after all, but I just look at them saying I can't do ice. So is it okay if I make your drink not look so appealingly attractive?
Yeah.
And yeah, it all boils down to service with a smile. I think it's very old school.
Very,
Very
very.
Very Thangam Philip time. Like I remember reading all those books. Very old school, yeah. The catering college books.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's service with a smile. You smile, and I know personally I have met people with the most atrocious, condescending attitude when I was in service to them. And they have looked at the menu, scoffed at the menu, and told me this is a stupid place. I won't mention the place I was working at. We don't want to dine over here. And I look at them and say, I am so sorry you feel that way. Can I make you something?
Hmm.
And I have gone and created something from scratch, from ingredient scratch, made it and presented to them. And they have loved it and they have gone above and beyond after that to bring at least 10 people to the establishment.
Yeah.
Just by one dish that is not even on the menu, not even in the punch system,
Yeah.
not even anywhere. I don't want this knowledge done. I don't want that done. You know? So things like that. So it's all about service. What is so hard for people to get? It's service. You're going to a place. Otherwise, nowadays, just order Swiggy and Zomato, which has become very convenient.
Yes, it has.
It's via people opening up spaces. It's become great just to order cloud kitchen service and Swiggy and Zomato, which is a great business model in any which ways.
Yeah, it is. But on the other side, right? Like you said, anybody could be having a bad day, right? The diner could be having a bad day. The chef could be having a bad day. It sounds also simple, right? When you say service with a smile, but it's so difficult to implement in every working minute that you're there. I'm sure it's not as easy as you made it sound. It's tough. The business of hospitality is tough, and not from just now, right? We were speaking to Shakir Haq, Empire Restaurants Bangalore, right? And he was telling us about how his grandfather started the first Empire restaurant, and now they are a multi 100 crore business, right? And some principles don't change. He still has people helping navigate the newer generation into the business and bringing them with their SOPs and processes. And the next generation is obviously making it much better. But somehow this aspect doesn't get translated with everybody. Why do you think that is?
Ultimately stems from what exactly it is you want to do in your business. You've got to figure out exactly how big, how small, how niche, how mass anybody wants to get. Like even the genesis of your McDonald's started with two brothers in a small little.
Yeah.
That is how the empire started. McDonald's started there. Obviously, along the way, it didn't really dovetail into what their original idea was, right? They had a different idea completely, and what Ray Kroc did to the brand was completely different. But it's business as usual.
Yes.
So tomorrow, and also it is very important to understand trends and changing patterns. Everybody wants to scale up, but nowadays there is a new philosophy that occurs where they want to hyperinflate and scale up to the moon in the span of time as the fuel is being put into the rocket ship.
Yeah.
Everybody's
in a hurry.
Everybody's in a hurry. I'll open 7 touch points. I'll go here. This is my valuation. This is what I have. How are you going to? How is that going to work? How is that going to work in today's hospital? I don't know. I get bombarded. I mean, with the Godrej food report, which I regularly contribute to, and all my peers talk about things, and I hear and learn so much from that. To keep up to date and abreast with what is happening today, in today's day and age. It's so crazy. Like, you can't keep up.
It's difficult.
You talk to somebody who has 375 franchises. I will pause over here for a minute to go back to my another origin story where I met this lovely lady called Kainaz Messman back in 2005.
Yeah.
Because she was in Kulaba, I was in Kulaba. We went and we put Christmas decorations up together in her Kulaba store, where she had a lovely kitchen at the back.
Yeah.
And we've been friends since.
Brownie
and
kitchen.
I recently congratulated her on the acquisition and where it is to where Theobroma has reached. And that was the origin genesis of Kakao in my head. It was so brilliant. And she educated me.
Of course.
And now when I look back at it now, at the end of it, it is 18 years in the making. She's taken 18 years to get to this spot. Now that is, and the thing is, she's got a minus. I mean, she has backed off. It's reached its bell curve. It's there. It's up there. It's expanding now. It has a new horizon, right? But that service from the original spot will always be that service from the original spot.
That's
and
true.
what I appreciate and love is when I travel and I see all these, especially there's such a learning when you go to Europe and all the other countries, that you have small little places that are 3 generations old and does not have this influx and they also started from nothing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they took a different approach. They took the time-bound approach to be like, I will create legacy and hand it over to the next gen and the next gen after that, which is great. Everyone to their own. And those generations are following suit. Now we don't know what is the next generation going to hold. The dynamics have changed today.
Yeah.
But if you look at the fulcrum and the ethos of the industry, it is hospitality. It means you have to be hospitable. Not put somebody in the hospital and forget the ability after that.
That's a good one.
Right. So, if anyone wants to, like, when you have guests to your house, you will cook for 10 people because your person in the kitchen or your wife or your husband can cook for those many people. You have a certain audience for that, right? You have a party. You won't do it at home. You'll go outside, no? Because you'll be like, I can't do
Yeah.
70 people at home. If I do 70 people, ODC, much needed.
Yeah.
Helps. I don't want the jhanjat. I don't want the stress. People are going to come. They're going to do an ODC, and life is. This is your per head cost. Take it. आप तंदूर लेके आओ, get your tandoor, get your oven, get everything. This is my garden. Make it and go.
Hmm.
Both work. But my question to you is, which one would you like? You might like both. Somebody might like, I want to go to Ketan and eat Ketan's wife. You, some other people might be like, nahi yaar, I'm quick. I need quick. I don't care about people. I just want it quick. I'll go to a QSR, pick it up.
Yeah.
But now I don't even want to travel. Swiggy, Zomato, done. I'm cool.
Hmm.
So scalability is there across, but at the end of the day, hospitality is there. Why will Swiggy and Zomato say, even on your feedback system, please rate your food and rate your delivery service partner? Why are they bothered about the delivery service partner?
Good question. That's for us to think through, right?
He is your first point of contact. It's like how you go to a
Exactly.
restaurant and the person who opens it, no,
The Mitra D,
the security guard,
the
or the
Darban,
waiter,
yeah.
the Darban, he will also be like, Salam Saab, Namaste
Yeah,
Saab, welcome.
that's right.
Why does he have to do it? He's just opening and closing the door.
Yeah.
That's the point, right? It makes you feel for a
Nice, special, whatever you want to call it, right? Depends on where you're going. Yeah, but no, it's every touch point matters, I think, in this space. You can't, especially today when you have probably more touch points online than you have offline. It becomes an act of trying to balance both hospitality and service. The food has to be good. It's a non-negotiable, but the service is what makes the difference, right? Okay, great. One more thing that you have been very, very active about is building communities for the longest time, right? So you have, and I have a list here, you have the Goa Culinary Club going, you have the Chef Miguel Arcanjo Award, I hope I didn't butcher that, you have the Further Chronicles Academy, you've got collaborations with Airbnb and Mahindra. How are these communities operating, and what is the underlying goal that you set up when you started with these?
I just met people, and I think your vibe finds your tribe, right?
Yes, it does.
Your vibe attracts your tribe. So now I am building a new community.
Oh, wow.
Which
Okay.
you will know about very soon.
Okay.
It's not for this,
Okay.
but so these communities have just evolved over time. Technology has helped to bridge the gap faster. But there is one common thread: food across all these communities. Creation, food. The delivery is food.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you're talking about now Goa Culinary Club, I cannot take credit for that, but I was there at inception, which was built by Audit and Jonas, my parents, and they run it successfully today. From 5 founding members, it's gone up to 80 members and counting, all with the idea of preserving the legacy of Goan cuisine and heritage. Right? And now it has become an education platform.
Okay.
The Miguel Arcanjo Award is my grandfather's award, which is the legacy to that man, who basically was a village boy who went and made it big in the city. His legacy is dovetailed out to budding Goan youth who are from colleges, like Ketan colleges as well as institutes, who come to compete with Goan cuisine because a man was born and his was raised at his Goan food, to basically win scholarship so that they can get placed somewhere, that they can, the family can be supported, they have to go for higher studies, etc. Not only they win that, they get an actual placement, so that they can start their career on the right foot after they complete college or even while they're doing college. And the community being built up for the love of bread. Right? It is, you're talking about the big dogs, the small pups, building that ecosystem together and giving business revenue models and opportunities that come in through mutual cohesiveness and collaboratives. So standalone restaurant benefit, Metro their benefits. Menus, they benefit because I come into the play and try to do something fun.
Hmm.
So my end customer benefits as well,
Yeah,
their
of
customer.
course.
Everything is food, and that is, and the new community also is food. Again, that is again going to be food, right? So that becomes the adhesive that will bring everyone together. Like I remember a friend of mine, Yash from
Hungering.
Hunger Inc., Bombay Canteen. He made note about a lovely set of ladies who were sitting, I think, his place at the Bombay Sweet Shop or somewhere, one of his establishments,
Yeah.
and they were enjoying themselves like old times with some mithai or some coffee or things like that.
Mm.
And he's like, there is no amount of social media, there is no amount of freebies, there is no amount of anything that can get these ladies in a kitty party enjoying themselves and having fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is kitty parties? My grandmother, I
Mm.
grew up around kitty parties. They would go to everyone's houses. And do potluck. What is
Yeah.
potluck? What are all these concepts? These are all community building concepts, Sunil.
Of course. Of course. And I think it was about his the Bombay Sweet Shop outlet.
Bombay Sweet Shop. Yeah. And I found that so heart touching. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
what a, like, it's so true. Because at the end of the day, there is no amount of marketing that can get you those people.
Not at all.
There is no amount of social media, there is no amount of Facebook, Instagram ads, anything that can get those
That's
people.
true.
The people are your community. They are there to basically you serve them. They are yours. And this I've noticed a lot in travels, especially to small towns and all that. You'll have that one baker, you'll have that
Mm.
one blacksmith, you'll have one person of
Yeah.
everything. So you want to go and have something in a confectionery store, that is it. Confectionery
Yeah.
A, that bakery A. And I think that is the most brilliant module of community. Yeah?
Yeah. It reminds me of the village of Gaul against the Romans, right? They stood.
Aspects
They
and
stood.
calls.
Yeah.
Thank God. Thank God. You had unhygienics with the fish, you had genetics,
Yes.
you had all of it.
Statistics.
At the bard, statistics, yeah.
No, it makes perfect sense, right? I mean, it's so nice to see everything come back to basics. That it is you invest in the relationships. I mean, the transaction, then everything else is secondary, tertiary, probably. But yeah, I mean, and are these communities open for anybody? Can anybody come and join them?
Oh, yeah, definitely. These
Hmm.
communities are open for anyone with a love and passion for food who has something that can contribute to the food ecosystem in their own way.
Hmm.
So we have home chefs, we have bakers, we have everyone come across aspiring entrepreneurs who want to get into the food space.
Yeah.
You have to just like connect, and you'll meet
Okay.
so many like-minded people out there who are doing such amazing things.
We'll put them
And
in the show notes.
the whole idea of this is it's a not for profit. None of these are for profit
Hmm.
because the
Beautiful.
profit comes, as I said. My business is not this. My business is to keep, I like to call myself a gatekeeper or a guardian to try and uphold the legacy of hospitality in any format that I can. Especially in today's day and age, before we transition to the AI digital world where hospitality will have to be fed into a system to get response commands.
Yeah.
To be like,
Module
press A,
activated.
you get this, press B, exactly. People don't talk anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I know some people don't want to be spoken to, but you can understand who those are. But majority
Yeah.
of them just want to be heard and fed.
Yeah.
We think of it on I call it the ulta khopdi method, where we think of it saying if you're nice to someone, they will take advantage of you, which probably is the case. But it's only short-lived. I'm wearing a t-shirt called Karma, yeah. I mean, come on. You can make an ullu out of me and, like have me work for you for free. It's fine. I will cook for you for free also. But how long?
Yeah.
As long as it's
I'm a
benefiting
very
somebody else. Yeah, as long as it's benefiting somebody else as a third party, I'm the happiest person to do it. No worries about it.
I am a very strong believer in karma, and karma is
It's a boomerang, man.
It's
a boomerang.
The boomerang. It comes back very fast before you know it.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, just looking at the time, quick. I want you to bring all this discussion to a nice closure by giving your advice to the next generation who's trying to build authority in this regional space, and how can they go about doing this without losing authenticity. I mean, you're managing a full-time F&B consulting business, which is still not your primary business. You're an investment advisor. You're from the world of finance. So how do aspiring writers, curators, F&B entrepreneurs who are probably watching us, how can they make an impact in this space without losing themselves completely or going mad?
Keep it simple. Keep it simple, silly. That's PISS. That's the formula.
Hmm.
Simplicity works a long way. Point number two is just be true and be you. That would be nice because people want to buy into you first,
Hmm.
and then they buy into the concept after that. If you are the face of your concept. Point number three is you've got to be sensitive to the market and to the people in this market. It's a very
Hmm.
price sensitive market as well. People will pay for quality, but at the
Right.
same time, there are many multiple factors that get attached to that quality that are hidden, which you do not know about
Mm-hmm.
as an entrepreneur, and you've got to navigate through that as well. Uh, Point number four, it's never about the freebies. That will only last for a bit. People
Hmm.
think that, people will come, I'll give them free stuff and invite glorious things and things like that. It never really works in the long run to many a level without impacting something or the other. And last but not least, I think it's a matter of keeping things very. Uh, your produce has to be good. Your produce has to be clean because people want clean things. They want an extension of their lifestyle of where they are going from a household to come to your store.
Hmm.
It's clean and open and nice and accessible. Money is second. You pay for it. They want to know you. They want to know your thought process. They want to know your produce. They want to know your story. They want to know exactly where you're getting your stuff from. Go back and show them where your produce is coming from.
Hmm.
Cook with really good ingredients. In the long run, it will make sense. Don't look at me and tell me you need 78% margarine in a croissant, because of temperature climate. Someone who's been in the kitchen, I will look at you and smile because we're part of the same industry. But deep down inside, I know that it can be done better. There are certain things that are coming into light today. Health is very important. So, hygiene, health, prevalent factors that will make or break a business. People will buy into those factors more than your decor, more than your ambiance, more than anything
Hmm.
else. They want to know where you're getting your produce from. I feel very excited when I meet small time farmers who are making small batch from coffee estates, from supporting local farmer initiatives. Their stuff is on the premium side, but I know why because of the
Hmm.
ingredients that are going into that. They can give me an option B, which will be way cheaper, and they still make more money. But
Yeah.
they are not going that way. They're going the more difficult way because they're trying to live a clean program. Support that. I would tell
Hmm.
the people who are watching this, support them. Support the big guys, support the small guys as well, because anyway the world is changing.
Yeah.
They're all going that way. Artisanal is just a catchphrase, but forget
Yeah.
artisanal. You're talking about small batch. People love small batch. They
It's
know it's
fresher.
fresh.
Yeah.
I have been given brickbats time and time again. Until date, I tell people around it is okay to run out of things, and tell
Hmm.
that person, apologize to them. I'm so sorry to have had you come over here. It's not available today. I will see you tomorrow. It will be fresh back on the oven,
Hmm.
or it will be fresh back in the display counter, not from a freezer. It's not coming from a freezer.
Yeah. That's an
People
important
are okay
thing.
with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can relate with that because when I want bread, I go to the local bakery around the corner and get from them. I mean, there are times I get disappointed and then that's on me because I didn't go on time or I didn't call them and tell them to keep for me. But I've never had better bread, better pav,
Yeah,
better kadak pav. But yeah, thank you. Thank you so
yeah.
much, Nolan, for this. It's been a very, very enlightening session. But before I let you go, I have to ask a few things and I will put you in the spot. Which is your current favorite restaurant and what do you like there?
My current favorite restaurant. Okay, so let me just go back to my last order. How about
Hmm.
that? Because it has been a multiple number of times I have ordered from there
Yes, please.
in the last week. I talk Goa for now because I have been in Goa for a while. Since December,
Okay.
I haven't been. But my current favorite restaurant would have to be, there's this burger joint that has opened up. There is a North Indian section that has opened up. two rather. In fact,
Mhm.
there is obviously a Japanese restaurant that has opened up in Goa and all serving banger food. So obviously it can't be one favorite restaurant.
Yeah, that's all right.
Favorite restaurant is something that is from my own kitchen is obviously because we love to experiment with our food. But these restaurants that have opened up are just so fantastic. I will name them, of course, so that people can try them. And there is an Udupi restaurant that has opened up.
Oh, interesting.
Like, fabulous. This is not sponsored. They are not my clients. They are known friends. They'll probably get a heart attack when they see this online, and probably they won't even realize. One would be obviously Smashed Burgers. It's a concept that has taken shape with a chef, a very reputed chef in Goa. It's in Anjuna. It's a
Mhm.
cloud kitchen, it's not a restaurant. It's a cloud kitchen,
Okay.
mind you, on a mountaintop, right? They make some really good patties and some really good burgers. Very simple, nothing too fancy. Meat quality is fantastic. I'm a preferred vegetarian, but unfortunately I have to try out everything else.
Yes.
So never mind that. Moving to veg options, Radhika Tiffin Room in Mapsara is something that has my heart right now. It's a lovely Udupi space. I think it's got maybe about 10 or 12 seater restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Crispy Dravidian donuts, as I love to call them, which are my Midu Vadas, always has my heart, Southie at heart. So they make some really, really fresh, piping hot, amazing food with a filter coffee, which is great. I have to plug in Goa's first atelier, which is Doda Atelier, is run by Chef Alvinia D'Souza. She is Goa's first chocolate maker. I am currently doing this podcast, sitting here, gorging on a Doda double chocolate chip cookie that I recently saw on Rashmi Uday Singh's post.
Oh.
And I have come calling. They have a cookie program by Rubies, which is brilliant. Yeah, Alvinia does San Sebastian Bars cheesecake and chocolate chip chunk cookie, and she grows her own chocolate on a farm.
Wow. It's a farm to table in the truest sense.
As she likes to call it, farm to bar.
Farm to bar.
Farm to bar.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, I'll send you. I'm gonna pass. I'll send you some across.
Yeah,
And,
thank you.
And obviously, I have there is koila kebabs that have come, which has got that flavor from Delhi. They have a small seater. They're the same chain from Delhi.
Okay.
Very excited to have them in Goa. They bought my galautis. They bought my paneer, my paneer, as well as the varki paratha. So I've been going crazy enjoying their fare for the last 2-3 days. And my boys from Mizo and Noresha from Mizumi, I love their food and order in quite regularly because of the lack of time. But whenever you do get a chance, you guys have got to check that place out.
Yeah.
I can't leave without mentioning one more, which is Cafe Lento by Chef Jyoti. He is not a new kid on the block. He manages the second house and the daily in Pune and the second house in Saligaon.
Yeah, the picante at second house has been recommended many times. Yes.
It is legendary. It's quite legendary. And Chef Jyoti has a beautiful cafe concept that has my heart. It's called Cafe Lento. Try the French toast with that maple butter syrup that he uses, and call me later if you have any doubts or if you have any feedback regarding this area.
Of course. Yes, so I need to take out more than just a couple of days to come back to Goa now, and there's a lot to explore.
I need to curate a food trail for you the next time you're here, and anybody, please reach out to me. I would love to curate a food trail or at least give you some of my recommendations personally on Instagram. All you have to do is just DM me, say hi. Ketan will put up all the details.
I will.
When that happens, and just shout out to me. Nolan's a twit. That's my Instagram handle. I don't take myself seriously. Yeah, so it's Nolan's a twit. Just send me an email, and I'd love to keep in touch with all of you all. Anything food and drink related, just slide into my DM.
Thank you so much, Nolan, for giving us, I think, days worth of thinking about in just a little over an hour. I'm sure I can see a lot more topics that I want to talk to you about, and we'll probably schedule them in the next season. But yeah, thank you once again for doing this, and it's just been an absolute delight listening to you.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on your show. More importantly, I think I should stop talking when it comes to any further ones, because what I would like to give and do is give back to the community that has been so kind to me. I would be the most happiest to spotlight a couple of these places and establishments that I feel are
Yes,
doing really, really interesting work.
please.
At the same time, it would be lovely for your viewers to basically, get an underground feel as to what's happening behind the scenes in Goa
Yeah.
and all the craziness that is happening in the world of food and drink. And that is something I would champion just as much with all my other ventures, which I am championing with right now with you. And I would love to basically just, pick your brains and use your lovely platform to showcase all these hidden talents and gems, just creating such a vibrant ecosystem more than anything.
Happy to help. So today's special started as an act of giving back to the community because there is so much knowledge about F&B, but it's with the operators like yourselves, right? There's not a common platform. So this is what we want to do with today's special. We will take your help in reaching out to these people and bringing them on the show. Thank you so much for the offer.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Thanks. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.